things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Sorry for the short delay there. I was trying to clear my throat, which I was not fully successful in. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a good evening. I hope your past evenings were good. We are moved, but we're not unpacked, but we're moved. I did actually get an impressive amount done today, in my opinion. As far as unpacking, putting away, but we've got days of doing it, because I want to do it in as organized, as best fashion as I can, because, man, when you have an unworkable space as far as like your living space, and there's just a lot of unworkable space because of the way it's set up. Man, you have to kind of scatter things everywhere to be able to get, when you do the different things we do, the vinyl cutting and everything else, you have to scatter things wherever you can put it and be able to function. And that was really hard to do in the other place. This place, however, different story. This place has mostly all usable space. I mean, it's a house, So it's I think it's going to work out well. I think it's going to really work out well. But we're moved. Man, it was grueling. Of course, my health's not that great. I had a couple of angels help me, and one of them, I'm not going to give names or details or anything, but one of them is a young teenager. And the other is, an adult but disabled mother. And so, anyway, two angels that, man, number one, I can't thank them enough. And number two, man, I know my health is crap, but I also know my drive. And for people to keep up with that drive, I'm impressed. I'm impressed because I will push myself to the point that I'm almost about to collapse, in which I did for 3 days in a row? 3 days in a row, pushed myself until I was about to drop. And then not be able to really get good rest because you hurt and everything else. And but we made it. We got through. And so the worst of it's done. And it's a matter of putting stuff away. But it's actually a pleasure this time because, for one, it's a nice home. And for two, I can actually organize things in a common sense manner. Like our news desk is actually up against a wall, not in the middle of the floor. That right there in your main living space will really screw everything up. But we didn't have a choice with the way that the living room was set up. We only had one place I could have done that, and then nothing else would have worked. So it is what it is. We're not there. Thank God. So anyway, we're out of there. It's that was ridiculous. And I really don't know what to say. All I can say is stupid people are irrelevant. Plain and simple. Stupid people are irrelevant. They don't matter. And that's the one thing that it seemed to have a hard time getting across to just society in general, okay? Because we are such an emotionally based society. We are largely a society that we have to have acceptance, right? We have to belong. We have to fit. No matter how bad we degrade ourselves, we have to fit. Well, homie don't play that. Homie has never played that. And that's why I've always been an outcast my entire life. I've been an outcast, proudly, because I'm not a piece of shit. I don't have to talk about people. I don't have to gossip. I don't have to lie. Nope. You see, there's a difference, and I've said this a million times. There's a difference in talking and a difference in doing. And I'm not a talker. Not a talker. I'm a doer. I know I do a news show where I talk. But you ask anybody that's worked with me, and they will tell you that when I'm working, I do everything I can. I don't want to talk. I want to stay focused on what I'm doing, and I want to get it done. I want to get it done as efficiently and quickly and correctly as possible. It's how I am, how I've always been. And the same is true for life, and the same is true for those areas of my life to where I was a screw-up. And it was a long process becoming an unscrew up. And it was like steps, like you were walking upstairs or walking downstairs, either way. And, it started in my 30s, which is extremely late. But that's when I finally started to settle down, was my early 30s, very early 30s. And I just started to settle down there. But I really didn't have my life straight. And so I didn't get my life straight until my divorce. And that is when I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this 100%. This ain't going to be no partial stuff anymore. 100%. And that's where I've been ever since then. 2014. So I'm proud of who I am today. And if other people can't accept that, well, quite simply, they can go fuck themselves. Plain and simple. Stupid people are irrelevant. I focus on me. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a conceited way. I don't mean that in a, pompous, because that's not me. That's not who I am. But I focus on me. I don't want to talk about anybody else. I don't want to worry about anybody else except for Jen and Blue. And that's just the way it is. And like I've said a million times, the world can burn down around us. And as long as I've got Jen and Blue, no fucks. And that may sound bad. That may sound bad. But, man, like I've said a million times, anybody that wants to take a walk in these shoes, I'll hand them right over. I'll hand them right over. But it is what it is. And I guess what I'm getting at with this is be a doer, not a talker. Right? You guys here that have been around know that when I say things, I do them. Plain and simple. How long did it take for us to move? After I initially said, we're going to get the hell out of here. Not long, did it? I make shit happen. Because I can make shit happen. That is what is called a position of strength. Once again, that is why stupid people are irrelevant. Because they do not operate from a position of strength. They operate from a position of bullshit. It is what it is. So when you go and you're going about your preps, and I'm telling you, this is another area I've ran into stupid people being irrelevant. Say you hit Facebook groups, prepping groups. You are going to get, it doesn't matter what, let's say you post that you bought something. It doesn't matter what that is that you bought. I'm telling you, you bought the wrong thing. Somebody's going to say you bought the wrong thing. Or somebody's going to have to upscale you and show you what they got. So, this is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. Focus and get done what you need to get done. We ain't got much time. Man, I saw a headline, was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday, and I put it out because it's like the maybe third headline or something I'm going to cover tonight. Whew. It sent chills down my spine. Because I've long been calling something out. Well, can't say real long because the situation hadn't been here real long, but since Trump lost by whatever accounts, right? Since Trump lost, I had been saying to keep an eye out for a war with Iran. Well, there's subs that are trying to intimidate Iran. Now, here's the thing, okay? And I can't remember, somebody did a video on this not long ago, and turned out it was true. I looked into it. It was us, and I think there was another country, and I think they were going to engage Iran, if I'm not mistaken. And upon initiating that, they found out something about some type of Chinese weaponry that would have just wiped them out, the entire fleet. I sit and I think about that, and I wouldn't doubt it for a second. We all know that China would back Iran. There's a fairly decent chance that Russia might even back Iran. I think as far as Russia is concerned, Putin, I think it would depend upon what initiated the war. I think he would take the same stance on it as what he said he would take. Was it with Venezuela or North Korea? I can't remember which one. North Korea. Keep an eye on this, because I really do think that Trump sees it a possibility that if we're at war with Iran, that he's going to remain in office, because, different declarations, executive orders. So that's concerning. Along the lines of Trump, speaking of Trump, had an interesting message that he put out today, I guess. I guess he more or less condemned the Democrats' $600, deal. And he says that every American should get $2,000. And while I'm in agreement with that, what the hell is he trying to do? Don't tell me he's trying to get every American $2,000. I mean, that might wind up happening as a result of his efforts, but that's not the root of why he's doing it, because he's worried about you. I'm telling you, the folks that, man, how could you not see that man does only for him? But whatever. I don't get what his intent is, but I do know this. I know there are a lot of people really, really hurting. Really bad. And they need help. And their government is failing them in every way possible. And it's ridiculous. I was quite shocked to see video. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I saw a video of Oregon, the state capitol in Oregon. I'm sure you probably heard and or seen that as well. But wow. It's not going to take long That's one thing that we've always been trying to say about civil unrest. You know, and I'm not when I say civil unrest, I'm not talking about the crap with Antifa and the riots and stuff like that. Yeah, the riots, but you have to understand, and I've long said this, okay? Um, the left, and I'm not trying to insult or put them down or anything like that, but there's a very key thing that they don't understand about making things right. And when I say the left, I don't mean all the left, because I'll tell you what, I know a lot of people on the left that are pro-gun. But largely the left, they'll show up at a protest and stuff like that, and they'll let themselves get tore up. They'll just let themselves get tore up. It's almost like a game. It's crazy. The right is a little different. For good reason. They have a little better understanding of the Constitution and the reasoning behind the Constitution and certain things in the Constitution and why it was structured the way it was. I don't understand how the left largely wants to just throw that to the wayside. Kind of important. It's our founding. Whatever. I just don't understand that. Man, I'm telling you, we are in a bad spot. And you're going to see, I think, my opinion, you're going to see civil unrest. And when I say civil unrest, again, I'm not talking about the riots, the BLM protests. I'm not talking about Antifa. When I say civil unrest, I am talking about desperate people that are trying to feed their families, trying to keep a roof over their head, trying to keep their life from just spiraling out of control. It's a different type of civil unrest. When people are desperate, when they feel like they have nothing left to lose, it's a different type of desperate. It simply is. And I think this is going to unravel quick because people are hurting. And government's still playing around. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because that's what it's going to be. Meanwhile, and I was talking about the just average everyday citizen, right? On the other side, you've got the business owner losing everything as well. You know, most probably of these people have put everything they had to get where they're at. We're nowhere. But we have put everything we've had to get where we were. We know how it is. We know how it is. But we're on a much smaller scale. Much, 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 much smaller scale. And then what happens after that? Okay, let's play this scenario out a little bit because this is important. So let's say the majority of small and a good chunk of medium-sized businesses go to the wayside. What next? Because you just threw a huge chunk of your population into poverty. You tell me which one of those people, or, you know, how many of those people, or which ones, whatever, of those people that are in poverty, and I mean all the people are in poverty, that are going to be able to start a business and create something that is going to be viable, something that is going to be successful, and most importantly, something that's going to employ other people. You see, the chances of that get very narrow very quick. So then what? You got the haves, the have-nots. Oh, wait, it changed, didn't it? I'm sorry. I mean, you got the haves and never haves. See, that's what they're working on. The haves and the never haves. And I guarantee if you're listening to my voice, you never have. Guaranteed. In fact, there are a lot of people in some very high positions that I would say think that they're haves, and they're going to be a never have. This is insane what is going on. You got to look at it from a global standpoint. They are positioning and posturing this is not good. And what bothers me the most is it's global. And God forbid a dream just popped in my head. A dream that I had previously had. And that is very, very eerie. I'm going to tell you part of that dream because I've said this dream. This ain't the first time I've said this dream on the show. But you probably need to know. Let me explain this because a lot of people may not know. In my younger years, I would dream, not real often. I don't hardly ever remember dreams now. But in my younger years, yeah, here and there. But there was something very, very, very interesting about my dreams. If everything was kind of like accurate and in place and stuff like that in that dream, you can damn well bet that was going to be a day of deja vu. That dream was going to happen. But if there was like stuff out of place or stuff didn't make sense or something like that, it was just a dream. And it really was pretty simple to gauge which was which. So now understanding that, let me tell you what happened in the dream. This dream would have came, and when I say younger years, this was a later dream actually. This would have been, I'm going to guess, 2009, 2010, in that area. And the reason I know that is because where I was and everything else, and everything seemed that right in place. And then something else today that Jen can confirm. Holy cow. Okay, let's go here. So, I was out at the airfield in the dream in Piron, doing our thing, out there flying and doing airfield stuff. And everything was normal. All the people out there were normal. Everything was in the right place. Everything was perfect. About that time, I looked up in the sky. And Jen's going to hear a little click here. And I saw an aircraft that was odd. Never seen an aircraft do what that aircraft was doing. One of the things that that aircraft was doing was flying at an extremely, extremely, extremely slow speed. I'm staring at Jen because all this shit is just dawning on me right now. That earlier today, in fact, I've got pictures of it. I don't know how good they are. I haven't had a chance to get them off. I tried with the phone. I tried with my camera. Not good because I didn't have a tripod. It was a plane, folks. I had to move, right? And stuff is packed in boxes. So it's like, shit, what box is my camera in, right? So I had to move as quick as I could. I couldn't set up a tripod and all that, but we'll see. Anyway, wow. This is freaky. It is freaky. However, it wasn't the same plane that was in the dream or anything like that, but I did need to say that. This is weird. So, here, let me get to the point of the dream. An aircraft, one of the aircraft, had crash landed into the field, but not like fireball, right? It was a pretty soft touchdown, but it was a crash touchdown. It wasn't going to take back off. But the pilot was okay. Pilot gets out of the aircraft. Well, we're pilots at an airfield. So we go running towards this aircraft that just went down in the field next to the airfield. And we get out there, and pilot gets out of the plane. He's okay. And this is where things get strange. Well, as if it wasn't already, right? And this aircraft, by the way, wasn't normal. This aircraft was real, I mean, it kind of looked like a normal plane, but this thing could fly at an incredibly slow speed. And, I mean, almost a hover. Well, anyway, there was a fire department in this little town, and so I told the guy, let's walk over there. And so we were walking over there, and we got to talk, and I'm like, man, what's going on? Because it wasn't just one strange aircraft. There were like a few. And he goes, man, it's on. He goes, it's on. And I said, dude, I've got a family, and this is the important part that I want you to pay attention to. And I'm sorry for being so long and drug out on this. This is actually blowing my mind. I said, man, I've got a family. I was married at the time, yada yada, right? I said, level with me, dude. Where can I take my family that's safe? And the guy looks me dead in the eye and says, you don't understand. This is an extermination. And that's when the dream ended. Now, I've had several other dreams. Many dreams of a particular scenario, but I never was real sure how we got there, because the dreams are always the survival part, not the how we got there part. And as I'm watching stuff unfold, I could certainly see where it could go that direction. Yikes. I'm going to have to check that out, that plane. I tried to zoom in to get as good a picture of the plane itself, It was just flying real slow for a jet, right? And there were two contrails, and they were contrail. They were dissipating, right? But it was this real strange kind of craft. I don't know how to describe it. Um, anyway, I'll have to check out the pictures, but have a drink of tea. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time clearing my throat, but wow, that's kind of freaky. That's kind of freaky. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to think on that for a little while. Man. Anyway, though, I guess we should probably get moving forward to the regular stuff. Um. Let's see. I just looked up. How many blades it had. What do you mean? It wasn't a chopper. It wasn't a chopper. It was a plane. And it was. It looked like it had a really extremely small wingspan. Is why it looks strange. I mean, but it was long. It was a really long aircraft, and it didn't look like it had a huge wingspan, and it was like a delta wing configuration. It was a really strange looking aircraft. I'm gonna have to see. No, it wasn't a triangle. I mean, it had a triangular shape for the delta wing, but it had definitely an elongated fuselage. It had a really long fuselage. Think Concorde. Think Concorde. It was along the lines of like a Concorde. Except for the delta wing was a little pushed up on the fuselage in comparison to the Concorde. Because in the Concorde, it was the delta wings all the way at the back. This wasn't. This was up a little bit. And it was a kind of a funky looking aircraft. I hope I have at least, I snapped several pictures with my handheld camera zoomed in. I hope at least one of them came out good enough to get the idea of the shape of it. It was kind of strange. But I just happened to look up and see it. So I was hoping to get the Christmas star last night, and I did not. So it's been it's been a long week, and I'm not sure. I think I did get to see it a little bit earlier on. I'm almost positive that's what I was looking at, and I didn't take a picture of anything because I figured, well, I'll go out later, and I got busy doing stuff, and I did go out, but at the time that they said would be best to see it, I couldn't see it because I can't see the horizon. It's in town. So, things like trees and houses kind of block the horizon. So, I didn't get to see it. I didn't get, and I didn't take the drone back up. I did take the drone up earlier when I, like I said, I thought I saw it, but I went ahead and I took the drone up and I got the sunset. And they were saying an hour after sunset. So like I say, I'm pretty sure I saw it because I would have been looking an hour, roughly an hour before. But it was white or silver, so it was light colored. It didn't appear to be any type of military type of colors or anything. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get back out there with the drone an hour after. I just kind of because I wasn't sure if I'd find it, and I don't know. It's been a long week, and I just didn't, I don't know. I have enough motivation and enough drive, and it is what it is. This is the way I look at it. There's a lot of cats out there that got some really, really killer pictures of that. Way better than I could ever get with my equipment. So I will enjoy theirs. Um, but anyway, like I said, I did get to see it. And it was nice. It was nice. Um, really, all you can say about that. Uh, Trying to think if there's anything else before we jump into the normals, if there is a such thing. Um, hmm, just hard at it and working with getting all the stuff together that we need, new home and all that. There's always expenses involved in that stuff. I did put I was gonna put our smaller TV that was in our bedroom down on the desk here to use as a main monitor. And I got to remembering that it's 1080i, not 1080p. And I thought, well, that ain't gonna work. Not too well, anyway. And so I put our 43-inch on the desk. I thought, okay, this will work. Well, little did I know, and I actually had a discussion with the internet tech today about it. Because I'm not a video card guy. That's one, when it comes to graphics and stuff like that, I'm not a gamer. So, I don't have to have the latest. And so, anyway, if I try to play like a movie from my computer on this 43-inch screen, it gets skippy. And little do I know, a 4 gigabyte video card is not big enough to play 4K video, or I should say, play video on a 4K screen. Is the way I guess I should word that. So it is what it is. It's there right now. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous to see. It's a big ass screen in front of me, but it ain't gonna work. And I even tried to go into flight sim for like just long enough to get up off the ground, and yeah, it's all choppy and crappy, and so yeah. So that means we had to purchase a wall mount for the TV. Just kind of one of those things. I'm just gonna put my monitors back the way I had them and be happy. No, it's all good. No, I'm content with what I had. Man, that's some awesome stuff there. That is some truly awesome stuff there. I don't know if there's any way I can finagle whatsoever getting the 3 monitors sitting on this table, but I may try to figure it out. Because that would be really cool. But I don't know if my video card could do that. So maybe I ought to just put it like it was and be content. Anywho, but I can't think of any other updates. It's been pretty consistent, busy, moving. Let's see. I don't know of any other updates. I don't know. Let's see. Let's run through the normal stuff, and we shall go from there. And if stuff doesn't look quite right as far as the screens and stuff, because I switched with this monitor and all that, with this TV screen, it really threw a bunch of stuff off, and so I had to real quick before the show get it at least viewable. And tomorrow at some point I'm gonna pull this TV off of here and get my monitors set back the way they were, so that tomorrow night I won't have an issue with the show or anything else. So it's never enough time, and I'm telling you, man, I ain't got enough ass anymore. But I try. More than what some people could say. Let's see. All right, Amazon affiliate, and I was like surprised because I hadn't logged into this Amazon affiliate since we started moving because didn't have internet, and I hate using my phone, and it was not that important that I had to use my phone and battle to find this out. But thank you. I mean, wow, a big jump since I've last talked to you guys. So we are up to $40.07 on our Amazon affiliate, and I do believe, let's see, because I think there was 6 when we started out the month. So I think there's a couple of items yet that has to ship. So that should still even go up yet. So again, thank you. That's going to be a major help. Like I said, we ran into quite a few unexpected expenses, as you always do. I mean, I say unexpected expenses. If you move and you don't expect expenses, that would be pretty unexpected because it's the way it is. So yeah, that's gonna help drastically. So much appreciated. Let's see. We also have a Teespring store. Best way to see what we have there is go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. Right now we got 4 different designs. It's more than just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, all kinds of other stuff. So if you see a design you like, click on the image. That'll take you over to Teespring, where you can decide what product you want with that image and make your purchase there. And lastly, one way to help support the show is our PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at thewatchmannews.com right there in the main menu. That just takes you to our PayPal donation link. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or credit card, but I always let people know it says Transforming Disabilities up top, but it does say Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. Okay, get that out of there. Real quick cover numbers, and I haven't really been able to keep a good eye on these because, again, I've been busy. And when I've had a free moment, I sure in the hell wasn't sitting on my phone battling trying to get to this website and that website and see the damn thing. And I hate phones. I'm telling you, I hate them. Okay, so anyway, as far as yesterday, well, kind of, slow down. Fatal cases, right now they're saying 4,159. And as long as things are, the usual, that number's going to go up and then back down. Tomorrow it might be like, what, 2,300, right? It's really messed up. It is really messed up. But I'm showing yesterday new cases 177,683. We're on a downtrend. And fatal cases, we had a couple of days, 1,486. Actually, that's still not good. Let's see what happens with this number. If this stays consistent, yikes. Here, I haven't been able to keep tabs either. We're up to 1,404 here locally. Total confirmed, that is. And I haven't been able to keep track. In fact, I don't even have today's number wrote down, to be honest. So, I don't know if I'll get it wrote down. Not a priority. I guess we can do some headlines. Let me have a sip of tea. Fun. Let's see. Okay. Hang on. I had an email. I was just kind of checking out, Okay. Let me do some headlines here. Like I say, probably about third one in or so. It's a doozy. FDA investigating allergic reactions to Pfizer COVID-19. Oh, by the way, this is the 19th. I did not do headlines, so you're going to get about 4 or 5 headlines, maybe 6, leading up to yesterday, and then today's headlines. So, again, it is what it is. Again, 19th, FDA investigating allergic reactions to Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine after multiple incidents. On the 20th, several EU nations halt UK flights fearing virus variant. And I'm sure you've all heard this stuff. Another on the 20th, second COVID-19 vaccine authorized in the U.S., preparing to ship out. On the 21st, yesterday, EU regulator gives conditional approval to COVID-19 vaccine. Also yesterday, AG, no reason for special counsel on election, says Biden's son. Or, I guess election and Biden's son. Which is, yeah. Man, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. When there is that much rampant misjustice, and I'm not necessarily even talking about the election, because I don't know. I find it really hard to believe, but I don't know. What I do know is there is clear evidence of Hunter Biden's dealings. And it's going unseen. This is the stuff that really gets me. Yesterday, this is the headline that sent a chill down my spine. U.S. nuclear submarine sails into the Persian Gulf as Israel sends its own sub through the Suez Canal in a message to Iran. And there's not a lot of time left until the 21st, you know. 21st, right? Of next month? Yeah. Not a lot of time. Trump presents Legion of Merit to Indian PM Modi, Japan's Abe, and Australia's Morrison in nod to anti-China Quad alliance. U.S. may enforce COVID-19 testing for British passengers as 40-plus countries ban UK flights over fears of more infectious new strain. Russia looking to bolster oil supplies to India for decades ahead. Oh yeah, you haven't figured out we're on today. We have been. UK and France agree to let me try that again. UK and France plan to reopen border amid fears of the new coronavirus strain, says the media. A slap in the face, Tulsi Gabbard blasts stimulus package as rushed embodiment of DC's screwed up priorities. And I would agree with Tulsi. PetroChina makes a huge gas find. Must be time for war. Google and Facebook to team up and fight against government accusations of secret pact to rig online ad markets, says a report. China's Long March 8 rocket carrying 5 satellites make maiden flight. So, what 5 satellites is my question. Russian MPs propose bill to make social networks remove content considered illegal or disrespectful to state or authorities. Maybe I should repeat that. Russian MPs propose bill to make social networks remove content considered illegal or disrespectful to state or authorities. Disrespectful. Let's see. Huge fireballs ripped through New York sky after truck overturned, spilling propane tanks on expressway. Man, that would be freaky. That's like what was the name of those movies? There were several of them that came out. The Face of Death or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah. Or there was the other series that came out too that wasn't real stuff. It was just a movie, but I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, reminds me of that. Washington after China lambastes Washington after U.S. hits 58 Chinese entities with procurement ban for alleged military ties. There is plenty of food. UK Home Secretary warns against panic buying as border crossing stays closed over the new COVID-19 strain. UK exploring digital freedom passport app proving COVID-19 negative status for right to visit public places, says a report. 190 officers deployed in raid against suspected Islamists in Berlin after tip-off about imminent bombing. Mutation-beating vaccine can be ready in 6 weeks, says BioNTech, but confident existing Pfizer jab works against new COVID strain. Beijing lashes out at U.S. Congress bill in support of Tibetans, urges Washington to stay out of China's internal affairs. You know, it does kind of really bite that this TV doesn't work for a main monitor, because, man, it is nice to do the show with, I'll tell you that. Let's see. 4 arrested after protesters attempt to storm Oregon State Capitol mid-session. That's what I was talking about. And as you can see there, it was bad. It was nasty. I was like, oh my gosh. I was shocked. That was the civil unrest that I was waiting to see. It is starting. It is starting, and that was the point I was trying to make earlier. It is starting. If this continues, man, oh man, oh man, and I do believe it will. Antarctica no longer COVID-19 free as infection reaches frozen continent for the first time. Even in Antarctica, that's crazy. Record public borrowing brings UK debt pile to £2.1 trillion. Exiled opposition figurehead, and I never can say her name, accused of forming and financing extremist group to seize state power in Belarus. China lifts restrictions on foreign investment in the country's energy sector. Activity at Italy's Mount Etna intensifies, launching more torrents of molten lava and plumes of ash into the sky. Turkey quarantines 4,600 people arriving from the UK amid fears of highly contagious COVID strain. Strain will spread. Something like that. MPs from 5 German parties unite in Freedom for Julian Assange group, protesting his possible extradition to the U.S. 1 second, let me have a sip of tea. There was quite a few headlines today. There was quite a few. And just based on what I could tell from getting back into the swing, certainly accelerating. It's much more accelerated based on at least the past 24 or so. I haven't really looked that deep into the days before because, like I say, it's been pretty grueling. A military called up amid fears Welsh emergency healthcare will be overwhelmed as new COVID-19 strain sees infections soar. NHS Gender Identity Service appeals High Court ban on under 16s accessing puberty blockers. Even minor viruses may trigger widespread lockdowns and travel bans in post-coronavirus era, an analyst says to boom bust. And I hear that, but I ain't gonna play that. And neither will the majority of the rest of the planet. And I think they're kind of making their point with that right now. Billions in foreign aid and racehorse tax breaks. Trump urged to veto COVID-19 relief bill over under-the-radar provisions. COVID-19 deaths fall for second week in a row, even as new highly contagious virus strain rampant across the UK. Russia's space agency chief Rogozin hits out at stupid U.S. sanctions that even targeted ISS Mission Control Center. London on lockdown for Christmas, apparently not a problem from clients of private jet services as surge in booked flights reported. EU countries should drop blanket travel ban on UK and allow essential traffic, says the European Commission. What is she so bent out of shape about?
I don't know.
What is your issue?
Is there something on the Bluetooth that I don't?
No, but they're her toys.
Oh, okay. What?
You gotta wait, kid. I'm doing the show. Wait a little bit. Scruffy? Seriously? Hang on. Okay. This dog is something else. Apple shares surge on reported plans to launch self-driving electric car in 2024. In just a moment, sit tight. Ukrainian President Zelensky voted country's loser of the year, predecessor Poroshenko named runner-up. Activists raise alarm at NHS signs illegal deal with controversial U.S. spy tech firm Palantir to handle COVID-19 patients' data. Yeah, it's not good. MPs, and you really need to think long and hard about that, okay? MPs brand Bojo a liar as PM's claim of 170 lorry COVID backlog at French border morphs into 1,500. Bank of England calls for UK government to provide financial support until COVID-19 pandemic is over. A travel ban now calls growth for Trump to halt flights from the UK over fears of new virus strain. Police raid party with 60-plus people for violating COVID-19 restrictions. Coronavirus struck Macron's health remains stable, French presidency says. They lied, they cheated, West Point cadets caught in largest cheating scandal in 45 years. Ruh-roh. EU in final push to get Brexit trade deal done, says Barnier ahead of briefing with European ambassadors. An AP source says feds sue Walmart over role in opioid crisis. Another row. You're only warned once. Ron Paul gets YouTube caution as an episode of his show censored for misinformation. 2020 set to be the deadliest year in U.S. history as COVID-19 ravages the country. Maybe Google drank early. Tech giant leaves people scratching their heads with mistaken DM message made public. China's CanSino to submit its COVID-19 vaccine for review in Mexico. Safe to assume COVID-19 mutation is already here. Ireland's PM announces shutdown of pubs and restaurants amid new fears. I want to encourage everyone to get vaccinated. Fauci and other top health officials take Moderna's COVID-19 jab as rollout begins. So they give you two choices now. Now you got one or the other, right? You've got choices. You've got choices. Gateway to sobriety. Cannabis could reduce fentanyl use and overdose risk, a new study finds. Really? A new study? As if we hadn't known that for a long damn time. What about the cages? Biden advisors walk back immigration promises, say overturning Trump's policies will take time. That wasn't Trump's policy. That was Obama and Biden. Why would they think that Biden would remove the cages when he was one of them that put them there? But I digress. Question mark. 2.3 yeehaw. 2.3 trillion U.S. Congress bill condemns presidential election marred by malfeasance and serious irregularities. Now wait a minute. In Belarus. Not here. In Belarus. Let's see. What to do with $600 payments? CNBC asks financial advisors, gets dragged for tone deaf and clueless tips. You could pay a portion of one of your bills. Let's see. German general calls for Russia's NATO's greatest threat, let's see, since military are ineffective against terrorism and China is too far away. Really? UK and France travel to resume as thousands of lorry drivers stranded after border closures amid COVID-19 mutation. A White House COVID-19 task force, Dr. Birx announces retirement after backlash over Thanksgiving travel that violated CDC advice. You know, all those rules for us. The peasant class. U.S. Justice Department suing Walmart, accusing them of helping to fuel I shared that a second time. Sorry. Train carrying crude oil derails and catches fire, triggering evacuations in Custer, Washington. Putin signs legislation strengthening lifetime immunity from prosecution for former presidents and their family members. Not good. One-horse pony, Joe Biden continues to baselessly insist Hunter allegations are Russian disinformation. The unwelcome McCain U.S. destroyer expelled from South China Sea, weeks after being chased out of Russian waters. Yeah, they're doing what do they call it, a freedom of navigation mission. is what they're doing, and that's kind of essentially what they do. You could even say they test the waters. Let's see. Israel to hold fourth election in 2 years as parliament fails to meet budget deadline. Blackwater war criminals. Let's see. Russiagate collateral victims and Congress crooks among 15 pardons announced by Trump. Sorry, it's just kind of humorous. Another article on that. Trump says COVID relief bill adopted in Congress is a disgrace and needs to be amended and calls for $2,000 per American. And like I said, yeah, that would be, I mean, and I'm not speaking for us. I mean, if we didn't get it, I wouldn't bat an eye, right? I wouldn't think anything of it. We are not in the position that many, 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 many Americans are. And so when I say I'm all for this $2,000, guess what? I didn't get anything the last time. I didn't try. I didn't want it. So guess what? Whether they offer $600 or $2,000, I ain't going to get it. Because I ain't going to try. I don't need it. I don't want it if it's from the government. Plain and simple. Take it the last time, I won't take it this time. But I'm not going to sit here and say that because I don't need it or I don't want it, that somebody else doesn't. Because, man, I don't have any idea how people have held together what they can. Or what they have, I'm sorry. These are some crazy, crazy circumstances. And what gets me is for a lot of these folks that don't have a adequate income coming in during these times, all these bills and stuff are just piling up on them. You know, that $2,000, even at $2,000, that ain't shit. How long has this been going on now? Let's go on the low end of rent, $600. I mean, when I say low end, I'm kind of trying to average it a little bit. You know, you sit there and you think about that. Say 4 months. That's $2,400. Again, even at $2,000, it's a slap in the face. Sad. You know, we're nowhere near the position of many Americans. We don't have debt. We don't have loans. We don't have credit cards. We don't do that stuff. If we buy something, it's bought up front. Boom. We don't take credit. We don't want credit. Plain and simple. So even just right there alone, we're not nearly in the same boat as a majority of Americans. Because we don't have all those other bills, okay? And then we could sit there and go all down the line of things, too. We don't drive, so that means we don't have a car payment. We don't have insurance for the vehicle. We don't have maintenance for the vehicle. We don't have fuel, you know. You name it. We don't have all of those expenses. We have a much different circumstance than the majority of Americans. And I'm got enough common sense and compassion to remember that. You know, my situation is not everybody's situation, and I'm not going to sit there and tell everybody just to do what I do. That's ignorance. And anybody that tells you that, they're ignorant. You got to do what works for you. Man, that sure is hard. When all your options are just kind of ripped away. And that's where a lot of Americans are today. And it's concerning. Anyway, I think we only got one more here. Well, then I got a number one up there. Elon Musk says he offered Apple to buy Tesla during the darkest days and for 10% of the current value, but Tim Cook refused the meeting. Probably not a good idea. And lastly, health dictatorship. French citizens who refuse COVID-19 jab may be banned from public transport under the Green Passport plan. Pay attention to this stuff. Pay attention to it, because it's coming. That I am sure. That I am sure. Anyway, that's the headlines. I am going to get off here because I am like starving, man. I am starving, and I just might happen to have to make a bowl of chili real quick or something because I'm hungry. Anyway, I am going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody coming. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing, as long as I don't misunderstand what happens to internet switches. And, oh yeah, we had that fiasco today, too. Got internet hooked up yesterday, and I'm still not quite sure what happened, but we got internet hooked up yesterday, and everything was working great. And so today, when I say we got internet hooked up, Jen's computer wasn't set up yet. My computer was set up, the TV was set here, and yada, 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 but didn't have everything else set up, and I had to I had to get enough set up so they could do their thing. And so anyway, today I hooked Jen's computer up to the switch, and I never used a switch before in my life. I've always used routers. And it is a non-managed switch, so that means I don't have to go in and put in my own IP number and stuff like that. It should simply be you plug it in, it works. And it wasn't working. And so anyway, the tech came back out. Apparently there's something weird with the power supply, and he's seen it happen before. And he just simply, unplug, and I did unplug it and plug it back in, and unplugged it and plug it back in, but I didn't unplug the power supply itself from power and plug it back in. I just unplugged the barrel connector from the back of the unit, from the back of the switch, and waited like 10 seconds and plugged it back in. Well, anyway, he unplugged the power pack itself and plugged it back in, and then plugged in the barrel connector, and it popped up working. So, and he said he's seen that before, and sometimes it just kind of, I don't know, has some kind of a weird malfunction, and he told me what to look for if that ever happens. And so we got it squared away, and everything's all up on the computer. So, or I should say, all the computers are up, all the other stuff is going. So that's good. Anyway, I am going to get out of here because, like I say, I am starving, and I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you coming. God willing, we'll be here, and I hope to see you here. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.